everybody. Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 3,000 point battle. Yeah, we got a local tournament coming up here, I think on the 22nd of November. So if you're in Shreveport, Louisiana and want to play a 3,000 point battle at the local store called the Dragon Slayer in Shreveport, Louisiana on the 22nd, I believe, of November, then swing on by. I'll be there with my hat on. I don't wear a hat. That's a lie. I apologize. But since we're going to be playing 3,000 points, we decided to start practicing with 3,000 points because we can. Of course, we've embraced the Legion rules, both Undead and Chaos currently. 50%, all the good stuff, all the glory. In the tournament itself, there won't be the Chaos Ascendant rules, but in this particular game, we did use the Chaos Ascendant rules, and if you're wondering why, it's because I didn't have a problem with it. My opponent said, "Hey, do you mind?" And I said, "Hell no, man, play him." So he chose Khorne as being an Ascendant, and of course you'll know why. It's me, of course, Lord Tremendous of the Undead Legion versus Khorne's Prophet of the Chaos Legion.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and there has been changes because I got to add 500 points to my army, so I'm excited. I still have my Vampire Lord, Lord Tremendous, and never has he been more accurately named. He rides a zombie dragon because nothing's cooler than riding into battle than on a dragon, let alone one that died and came back. He's a level 2 wizard with heavy armor, sword of might, enchanted shield, talisman of preservation, the other trickster shard, red fury, quick blood, and the lore of death. And then I have my High Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard with a Dispel Scroll, Seed of Rebirth, and the lore of Nehekhara. My hero choices are a Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent, with a Great Weapon, Armor of Silvered Steel, and the Luckstone, and my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, with the Gambler's Armor, Dragonbane Gem, and Iron Curse Icon. My core choices are a unit of 5 Dire Wolves that are butt naked, 10 Skeleton Archers with Musician. I needed to fill out my core choice now that I'm adding 500 extra points, and decided to go with another unit of Archers because a lot of people have suggested them to me, and I was like, sure. So I did take the bare minimum. They've got a Musician in case I want a Swift Reform, but other than that, they're pretty much as is. I still have my huge brick of 58 Skeleton Warriors, the Fateless, with full command, light armor, and shields. I updated my Queen's Guard to 14 Skeleton Archers, or reinforced, I guess, with Unit Champion and Banner. I took the Musician out of there because, honestly, I almost never Swift Reform these guys anyway, so I figured screw it. And then I still have my 3 Chariots, Rollin' Bones, with Musician, Banner, and the Banner of Eternal Flame, because I really like my Chariots. I really do. My special choices are my 5 Hex Race, because they're awesome, and then I tried out 3 Vargheists. I went back and forth on this for about a day and a half between Crypt Ghouls and Vargheists. I wanted to try one, couldn't decide which, decided to go with the Vargheist because they can always march, they're strength 5, and I kind of like the way they look better than Crypt Ghouls, but like when I say that, it's just a little bit. I just like the Vargheist look a little bit more. Crypt Ghouls are still pretty cool, so I'm still up in the air about it. I also still have my Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, 3 of them. And then, of course, I brought the War Kitty back, my Chimerian War Sphinx with Fiery Breath. And then my rare choices stayed the same. I have a Hyro Titan, add the Protector, Screaming Skull, Catapult, and the Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows. He had a Bloodthirster with the Greater Gift Unbreakable Skin, which was a 2-up armor save. And then he brought a Demon Prince, a Warriors of Chaos Demon Prince, I might add, with the Mark of Nurgle. He was a level 4 wizard. He had Chaos Armor, Wings, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, Other Trickster Shard, Acid Ichor, Flaming Breast, Scaled Skin, Soul Feeder, and the Lore of Nurgle. His hero choices was a Herald of Nurgle with the Locust of Fury, which gave the unit Frenzy. And then he had a Herald of Nurgle, which was a level 1 wizard, and it had the Exalted Gift of Contagion, which basically means for every poisoned wound that he did, he got a free Strength 4 hit, which was awesome. And he used the Lore of Nurgle. And then he had his Herald of Tzeentch, who was a level 2 wizard on a Disc of Tzeentch using the Lore of Metal. His core choice was a unit of 40 Blood Letters with full command and a Banner of Swiftness, and a unit of 20 Plague Bears with full command. His special choice was a unit of 5 Flesh Hounds and a Beast of Nurgle, and his rare choice was a Skull Cannon of Khorne. Here are my spells, which, you know, pretty much what you're looking at. And here are his spells. He had the signature spell on both his level 1s, I think. I can't remember. And then, of course, he had the 2 for the lower metal. Here's deployment. And to be perfectly honest with you, with 3,000 points, I had so many models on the table, I was afraid to castle. So I didn't. I just kind of spread out. I had my Hex Race over on my left flank there with the Vargeists. I am proxying the Vargeists because, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't own Vargeists yet. I'm working on that. It's the holidays. Give me a break. But there on the left flank, getting ready to deal with his Beast of Nurgle and his Blood Crushers because I'm afraid of them a little bit. You know, now that I say the Blood Crushers on the table, I don't think they ever made it into his list. So that makes me curious, actually. I might have to go back and do the math later. No matter. It happens. But yeah, the Hex Race and the Vargeists were over there to deal with them, just to kind of harass and delay for the most part. My Catapult and my Casket were going to try to deal with them the best they could before they got in there and just destroyed them. The War Sphinx kind of was over there on the left flank just kind of as a backup plan. If my left flank crumbled, the Sphinx could come in there and deal with it. My Direwolves, Titan, Skeleton Warriors, and Skeleton Archers with Lich Priests in the middle there. That's the regular combo. That's the formation I'm going to run them because it just makes the most sense. The Chariots are right next to them to go in any direction they need to. That unit on the hill that look like Tomb Guard, they're not. They've been demoted to Archers. I don't have that many Archers yet, so I put Tomb Guard in their place because I had those models ready. And then, of course, on my right flank is my beautiful, beautiful Vampire Lord on a dragon. And his job was to get into combat as soon as possible with anything and kill it. And rinse and repeat. That was pretty much it. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of a unit of Blood Crushers and his Beast of Nurgle conversion, which, as you can see, is a work in progress. And here's the center, which consists from left of right of his Herald of Tzeentch. The Khorne Demon Prince there is actually his Bloodthirster. He's got his Bloodletters right next to them with a Herald of Khorne installed. Behind them is actually the Demon Prince of Nurgle and, of course, a Skull Cannon. And here's his left flank, which consists of his Plague Bearers. There is a Nurgle Herald installed there on the right side, and in front of them are a unit of Fleshhounds. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Vampire Lord on a Dragon and my unit of 10 Archers. And here's my center. From right to left, we've got my Chariots, my Titan, my Direwolves, my Skeleton Warriors with Prince and Necrotech installed, my unit of Archers with level 4 High Priest installed, and of course my War Kitty, the Sphinx. And my left flank, which consists of, from right to left once again, my Casket, my Catapult, my Proxied Vargeists, and my Hex Race. Here's tap 1 after movement, and I didn't get to go first, which was sad. But it worked. As you can see, everything just shoots forward. The only thing that held back was his cannon, which makes perfect sense. Everything else came forward. His Nurgle Demon Prince held back a little bit, which is probably smart. I would have charged and crushed that little bastard if I could. But, yeah, it is what it is, so that's where he came up, and other than that, nothing really special happened. During his magic phase, of course, his Reign of Chaos chart, he rolls like a 9 or something like that, and it hits the dogs and kills 2 of them. And then he proceeds to get Miasma Pestilence off on his Fleshhounds, and I gotta be honest, I let it go because I just didn't care. I didn't care. I figured he was just trying to roll the lore attribute because the Demon Prince is the Warriors of Chaos Demon Prince, so he uses the Warriors of Chaos lore attribute for the spells. And he didn't roll a 6 or anything like that, so it didn't matter. Over here, he gets the big Searing Doom off on my War Kitty, and I tried to stop it, and I missed, dispelling it by 1, which broke my heart a little bit, but he rolled like a 26, and I rolled a 25. Damn it, I tried, and I ended up taking 2 wounds on my War Kitty from it, and that sucked. And then over here, since I had nothing left, he gets Blades of Putrefaction off on his Demon Prince. Once again, I think he was just trying to roll in the lore attribute chart and failed, so whatever. With all that said and done, we go over here to bottom 1 after movement, because while his cannon did take a pot shot at my War Kitty, he failed to wound, or he just completely missed. Like, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. He shot at my Casket and missed. He overshot it by a ton, so that worked out just fine. So we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and I charged. I didn't see why not. His bloodletters got too close because they're like movement 6, so they move forward 12 inches. My dragon, my vampire lord on a dragon was 19 inches away from him. I needed a 9, and I made it because I'm the man. Meanwhile, my hex race move over behind the hill there for 2 reasons. One, or not the hill, I'm sorry, the impassable terrain, the little cave formation thing there, for 2 reasons. One, they're ethereal. They can charge through that damn thing. It doesn't matter to them at all. Number 2, it's a perfect way to bait him in and completely throw him off so he can't really charge my war machines right away, giving them more time. And if anything decides to pass in front of them, I can charge it. It's pretty cool. So I moved him over there, and I hoped that it wouldn't come and bite me in the ass later. Meanwhile, my Vargeist charge his Beast of Nurgle, not because I was really worried about it or as a threat or anything like that. I figured if my Vargeist could hit, wound, and kill off his Beast of Nurgle, then they could overrun, maybe hit the Bloodthirst or the Blood Crushers, or if I was lucky, slam into the Herald of Tzeentch. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but I also wanted to test the Vargeists, and the only way I know how to test models and units and stuff like that is to get them in combat as quick as possible. Other than that, everything else I have kind of backs up a little bit. I backed my War Kitty up because his Bloodthirster was right there, and I didn't want him to be able to get a hold of me real easy. I moved the dogs up just in case my Vampire Lord flubs and ends up taking a ton of wounds and exploding. I wanted to make sure that the Blood Crushers hit the dogs at a funky angle and then, you know, expose their flank to my Skeleton Warriors countercharge. I know they weren't going to crumble or anything like that, but if I could hit him in 2 sides, it'd be a lot better than hitting him in the front with my Skeleton Warriors, you know? A lot better. My chariots and everything else just kind of backed up slightly until I could figure out what I wanted to do with them. And of course the war machines stay right where they're at because they've got work to do. Here's a better picture of the Vargeist slamming into the Beast of Nurgle, and I was looking forward to seeing how that worked out. And there's a better picture of my Vampire Lord on a Dragon slamming into the Bloodletters because I like killing demons. Nothing really happens in my magic phase. I roll like a 4 and nothing. I just didn't have anything go off because, you know, I think I tried to just 4 dice to casket and he was easily able to stop it, which was, you know, smart. So we go over into shooting and my 10-man unit of archers slipped 2 wounds through on these damn fleshhounds and kill one of the bastards. So that was pretty cool. And then over here in combat, my Vargeist do a wound to the Beast, and the Beast does a wound in return. I have charge and a wound to his wound. I win by 1. He crumbles just a little bit because Nurgle is not in Ascendance. But the damn Nurgle Beast is still there, and my Vargeist are going to get charged by Blood Crushers. So it wasn't terrible. You know, the damn thing does have a 4-up regen. And they don't have any kind of a save, so it wasn't the best that could have possibly gone, but the thing is half dead. There's no way for him to really heal it. I'm feeling pretty good about that. The Vargeist haven't disappointed me yet. Over here, though, I end up killing like 12 of his bloodletters or something insane. So I'm feeling pretty good about that one. I won't lie to you. I didn't even use my breath weapon, so awesome. So with all the fun said and done, we go over here to top of 2 after movement, and some things happened that I expected, some did not. The Blood Crushers slamming into my Vargeist, totally expected that. His Herald of Tzeentch going up in front onto the bridge there like that, where my Hex Race could easily charge him, that I didn't expect. So I was looking forward to that. Provided, you know, like the Blood Crushers didn't completely overrun after they hit the damn Vargeist. I was hoping at least one would survive. His Nurgle Demon Prince and his Fleshhounds slammed into my dragon. I was kind of hoping that would happen. I didn't think both units would go in, but I thought it was kind of cool because, well, I was hoping to keep them all there for a while. Yeah, it's not the greatest position for my Vampire Lord to be in, and he really had no backup. But at the same time, now most of his army is stuck on my Vampire Lord, and it gives me a real good, well, opportunity, I guess, to see just how much punishment my Vampire Lord and Dragon take before he crumbles, which is useful to know. Meanwhile, I believe his Bloodthirster tried to charge my War Kitty and failed, and that was huge. And everything else pretty much just kind of stays where it's at. I think the Plague Bears try to come around because he realizes they're in a bad spot. Other than that, everything's what you see. There's a better picture of his Blood Crusher slamming into my Vargeists, and I was curious to see how this was going to go. And there's been a picture of his Nurgle Demon Prince and his Flesh Hounds slamming into my dragon. And if you notice, the dragon is on the proper size base now. So, ha! Told you I'd fix it. And there's been a picture of his Bloodthirster failing a charge on the War Kitty, which gave me an idea. When I looked at it, I was like, well, the War Kitty is still toughness 8. The Bloodthirster, I think, is strength 6, 7 if he charges. I figured I'd charge War Kitty into Bloodthirster, see what happened. He's got the best chance against him, right? During his magic phase, he gets Blades of Putrefaction off on his Demon Prince and Miasma of Pestilence off on his Warhounds, and I was fine with that because I was stopping other spells. And nothing happens in the shooting phase because, once again, his cannon shoots at my casket, hits, but he doesn't wound because the casket's strength 10. He only had 50-50, and he rolled a 3, so it didn't wound. But we go over here into combat, and sure enough, the Vargheists do pretty well, actually. They are able to finish off the beasts just with, straight up wounds. And they don't do too bad against the Blood Crushers. I end up, vaporizing due to combat res, but one's still alive with 2 wounds, which means he's holding up that whole left flank all by himself. And I got the Beast and Nurgle out of it, so feeling pretty good. You know what? So far, Vargheists aren't terrible. They're really good. I don't know too many things that take a charge from Blood Crushers and survive, But he did, and yeah, that gives my Hex Race a beautiful charge into his Herald of Tzeentch next turn, which I'm looking forward to. And then over here in combat, I just throw everything I have into the Blood Letters and decimate another 10 of them. Everything is Khorne is in Ascendant, so it doesn't crumble or anything like that. And of course, the Nurgle Demon Prince is the Warrior Chaos Virgin, so it doesn't crumble either. But not only am I winning, but I'm holding up, oh gosh, 1,000 points worth of models on the table right now. Let's see, his Demon Prince is probably around 500. His Blood Letters are around 400. No, they have to be closer to 500, right? With the Herald in there, closer to 600, and then the Flesh Hounds are another couple hundred. We're looking at almost 1,200 points of models, just held up by 1 unit of mine. I don't care what anybody says. Vampire Lord on a Dragon is effing amazing, and I'm not taking him out of the list. Sorry, as long as I'm running Undead Legions, you'll see a Vampire Lord on a Dragon. That's just too good. So now that I'm done gloating, we're over here at bottom of 2 after movement. And there's been some. Like I said, my Hex Race decided to go into that Herald of Tzeentch to beat him down. My War Kitty goes into the Bloodthirster because I was curious. I wanted to see if the kitty could do something against a Bloodthirster. Wanted to know. And everything else pretty much just stays where it's at because I didn't feel it was time to charge the Chariots into the Bloodletters. There was just too many left. And I kind of wanted to see how the dragon would do against that many odds, how long it could last. And, it's not like I had to worry about the cannon shooting me off the table or anything like that. So I was curious. I want to see what's going to happen. There's a better picture of the War Kitty slamming into the Bloodthirster, and that should be good. And there's a better picture of my Hex Race slamming into his Herald of Tzeentch, and that should go good too. Nothing happens once again in my magic phase because I roll like a 3, so we go into the shooting phase. I take careful aim at his cannon, fire, direct hit, but I misfire 5 because my catapult engineers suck. I need to raise a dwarven engineer or something, Then over here in combat, my Hex Race do amazing. I do lose 1 because obviously he's got magical attacks, but I am able to slip 2 wounds through and kill the bastard, so I feel really good about that. His Herald is gone, and that's just 1 big chunk out of his magic phase, so awesome. Then over here in combat, I beat the piss out of some Blood Letters. Let me tell you, it feels real good. I think I even burned my breath weapon this time. A lot of Blood Letters die. I feel great about it. But the one negative is my Vampire Lord does take a wound, as you can see by the little wound counter on my massively huge base. Not the greatest feeling in the world. He's like 1/3 dead now, but I'm hoping with maybe the hunger and some more combat, I'm able to roll a 6 and save his wound, but everything's holding on, so I'm holding on to hope. Then over here in combat, nothing. The Bloodthirster isn't able to wound my War Kitty, and the War Kitty's not able to wound the Bloodthirster, which is a shame. He makes his armor saves and stuff like that. But I win by 1, and the only reason this thing doesn't take a wound is because Khorne is in Ascendant. So I felt pretty good about that. The fact that the War Kitty, just my special choice, just ran into a Khorne Greater Demon then not only survived but won combat. Oh baby, that's awesome. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and not a whole lot. Once again, not much at all really. In the Vargheist combat and stuff like that, I think I did a wound to him to his banner, and nothing happens. So that was actually pretty cool. But we go over here to top of 3, and nothing really. Everything he has is pretty much in combat. His plague bearers move around a little bit, and that's it. Nothing happens in the magic phase, but in the shooting phase, his cannonball finally takes out my casket, and it does explode, and it hits, I think, my casket and does nothing. Everything else it misses, if anything else was within 12. We go straight into combat because, well, that's really all that we had left, and the Vargheist finally succumbs and dies, which is a terrible, terrible shame. I don't mind telling you. But he did well. He did really, really well, and he held up great against these guys. Held him there for 2 turns, basically locking down the whole left flank, and I love that. So, awesome. Over here in combat, I do take a wound from the Bloodthirster, and I don't do anything back. I do lose by 1, but it's a War Sphinx. It's an arcane construct, so it doesn't care. And then here in combat, I'm able to obliterate a lot more Bloodletters, as well as his Khorne Herald, which is awesome. And I even Thunderstomp his Warhounds a little bit, just because I wanted to try to get that unit out of there. I do take another wound on my Vampire Lord, and I am not able to hunger one of the wounds away, so he's hanging on to borrow time here, but he's still doing really, really well, and it's looking like I'm going to get the Bloodletters, so awesome. So we go over to bottom of 3 after movement, and I decide that it's time for the Bloodletters to die. I'm getting a little nervous that my Vampire Lord is going to die, so I did. I moved them, I charged them into the Bloodletters, and they made it, and I'm not going to apologize for that because it felt good. Meanwhile, my Hex Race run through the, what's it called? The Blood Crushers and kill one outright, which was just outstanding. And my Skeleton Warriors and Archers move up slightly, as well as the Titan, just to get ready to charge and get into this fight once my front line, breaks. There's a better picture of my Chariots slamming into the Bloodletters, because it's time for them to go. And there's a better picture of my Hex Race running through the Blood Crushers and dealing 3 wounds that go through. It was quite spectacular. My Stalkers did try to come onto the board this turn, but they misfired 3, so they go back into the sands to, think about what they've done and recheck GPS. And then during the match phase, I get Bubble Ward off here, mostly just because I figured my War Sphinx was going to die, and I wanted to make sure that my Skeleton Warriors had some protection. I did Irresistible Force it, though, and it turned into a miscast 5.
No! You must not read from the book!
Luckily for me, though, I miscast on the ward save. And while a whole bunch of wounds get done, only 2 slip through because I'm rolling out of the box all of a sudden. And 2 of my Skeleton Archers die, which is perfectly fine. That was a fair trade. During the shooting phase, my Catapult finally hits wounds and destroys his cannon. So that's something. The Catapult, re-ups his contract for a game, so that's awesome. But yeah, the Catapult, or I'm sorry, the cannon takes, I think, 5 wounds and explodes, so that's awesome. And then over here in combat, the combined charge with the chariot and everything like that, I'm able to pretty much kill off every last Bloodletter. The Vampire Lord and the Dragon finish off anyone who survived. I have, I think, 1 Fleshhound left and is Nurgle Demon Prince dealing with me. And my Vampire doesn't take any wounds or anything like that, so everything is good. And then I reform my Chariots to go after the Bloodthirster, who I was pretty sure was going to kill my War Kitty in a second. But I'm wrong. As you can see, not only did the War Kitty survive, but he slipped a wound through on the Bloodthirster. So that's actually pretty awesome. I was happy to see that. And yeah, now my Chariots are out of position, but hey, the War Kitty started to make headway on this damn Bloodthirster, and that's awesome. So we go over here to top 4 after movement, and there is some the Plague Bears and a Nurgle Herald slam into the flank of my Demon, or not my Demon Prince, but my Vampire Dragon And that made me a little nervous because I'm thinking at this point my Vampire Lord's got 1 wound left on him. I don't know how much more punishment he can take. He's already been through a unit of Bloodletters, a Herald of Khorne, almost a full unit of Fleshhounds. He's dealing with the Nurgle Demon Prince, and he just took a crap ton of Plague Bearers into his flanks. So I'm kind of running out of options. I got nothing to back him up right now because I moved my chariots the wrong direction. This is going to be ugly. This is going to be real ugly. Meanwhile, my Hex Race, or I'm sorry, the Blood Crushers try to get the hell away from my Hex Race. And for the most part, everything else he has is dead. So there you go. Here's a better picture of his Plague Bearers slamming into my Vampire Dragon, which wasn't too happy about that, I won't lie to you. During his magic phase, he gets Miasma Pestilence and Blades of Putrefaction off on them as well, which I'm not thrilled about, but I really didn't know what else I could do. And then over here in combat, yeah, I take a wound on my War Kitty, and the Bloodthirster takes another wound, so we're stalemated. So that was pretty cool, actually. This War Sphinx is going toe-to-toe with a Greater Demon of Khorne, and he's starting to eke out a bit of an edge. I'm gotta be honest, my jaw's on the floor. I'm so impressed. Then over here in combat, my Vampire Lord finally dies, and my Vampire takes a what's it called? The Beast check or whatever. Monster reaction chart test, and fails. I do not make his leadership, and I roll a 2, which is my Vampire Dragon. My Zombie Dragon is stupid for the rest of the game, which is actually kind of hilarious. Luckily for my dragon, he doesn't have to be stupid for very long because combat res is the real killer and vaporizes my poor dragon. So it is what it is. What can you do? So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and you're looking at it. Skeleton Warriors and everything like that move up. What's their face? My Lich High Priest moves into the unit of Skeleton Warriors just to get close enough to start trying to cast on my War Sphinx and heal a wound or two, because with the Undead Legion rules, I can heal. I heal 1 wound a turn that I can augment my kitty. So one wound a spell instead of just 1 wound a turn. So anything that I could put on the War Kitty would be better. The Hex Rays start chasing after the Blood Crushers just to harass them a little bit. And the archers just kind of follow suit, and the Titan moves around. I didn't move my chariots, and I don't know why. I just wasn't thinking. I should have, and I didn't. I did move the dogs in between my chariots and the Bloodthirster and my War Sphinx because I didn't want everything overrunning into my Sphinx and helping it win combat, or helping the Bloodthirster win combat so my Sphinx vaporizes. And my Stalkers finally come on the table, and they get within 8 inches of his Demon Prince, and the hope there was to just vaporize the damn thing. During the magic phase, I'm able to get Bubble Ward Save off, and I heal a wound off of the kitty as well as give it a 5-up ward save. And then I throw 5 or 6 dice at the biggest version of the Incantation of Desiccation on his Bloodthirster, and I Irresistible Force it. And not only do I Irresistible Force it, but I take 3 off of his Strength and Toughness for a turn, giving the War Kitty a real chance to take this Bloodthirster down. So that's awesome. Really, really awesome. The resulting miscast 10, however...
You must not read from the book!
Ends up resulting in me losing 2 wizard levels. I believe I lost Killing Blow and, of course, the Incantation of Desiccation spell. And I've only got a level 2 on the table now, so not the greatest thing in the world, but it is what it is. You know, what can you do? Meanwhile, during the shooting phase, I am able to put 2 wounds through on his Demon Prince, and I take 3 for my trouble because I misfire 1. Had the third guy actually, offered some extra shots, maybe I would have been able to get the Demon Prince, maybe not. I don't know. I ended up doing 4 wounds to the Demon Prince, though, but my opponent was able to save 2, so almost. During the shooting phase, my catapult fires at the, what's it called? The Demon Prince, and fails miserably. Not only does it deviate, but I misfire. But it's a misfire 6, so once again, I just can't shoot this turn. And I'm really thinking about raiding some Dwarven lands just so I can kill an engineer and bring him back and put him in charge of my damn catapult so that maybe it does fire for a change. I don't know. This misfire thing's pissing me off. So we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and the inevitable happens. The Plague Bearers and the Demon Prince and Nurgle slam into the rear of my chariots, because honestly, why the hell wouldn't they? And that's really about it. The Blood Crushers fail their leadership check to march, so they get about 8 inches away. 7 or 8, no, they get 7 inches away from my Hex Race, which is great, because now I can touch them and back off. And everything else he has is dead, so it works out. I think his one Fleshhound turns to face the Stalkers, and that's it. There's a better picture of his Plague Bears and his Demon Prince slamming in the rear of my chariots, and that's not good. And then during the magic phase, because, you know, the Reign of Chaos chart, I take 4 wounds on my Titan, which is just flippin' outstanding. And then, of course, my Hex Race, I lose one of them as well. I think he rolls the 6 or something like that, a 5 or a 6. I can't remember exactly what he rolled, but yeah. I lose another Hex Wraith as well, which is just fantastic. Then with nothing else happening in the magic or shooting phase, because I can actually dispel the rest of it, we go into combat and my chariots get pulverized. They do actually get the swing back. They roll so terribly it's not even worth mentioning. They get obliterated in small itty bitty chunks with combat res finishing off any stragglers, and yeah, that's sad. I believe both units overrun and hit my direwolves. But into combat over here, my War Sphinx not only does it not take any wounds, but it puts another 2 on the Bloodthirster. So now it has 4 wounds on it. I think it has a total of 5. I'm not 100% on that, but I know it's almost dead, and I feel great about this fight. I really do. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and you're looking at it. I tried to charge my Skeleton Warriors into the flank of the Plague Bearers and failed my damn charge. My Hex Race run over and harassed the Blood Crushers a little bit, doing I think like 1 wound to him. And other than that, my Skeleton Archers in the back there did try to, or they did reform, tried to swift reform, but since there's no musician, they couldn't do that. And my Archers on the hill there get ready to shoot at the little Fleshhound there. And if they fail to kill it, then my Stalkers are going to Care Bear stare at it and hopefully take out the Fleshhound and get me those points. There's a better picture of my Hex Race putting a wound on the Blood Crushers because they can run through anything. And there's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors failing to be the heroes. They could have slammed into the Nurgle unit and been heroes, but they decided not to, and that's disappointing as hell. During the shooting phase, I'm able to fire, I think my Archers on the hill are able to take out this stupid little Fleshhound and get me those points, so that was pretty cool. And then over here, oh my god! My War Sphinx is able to take down the damn Bloodthirster. It slips the last wound through and kills the Bloodthirster. This War Sphinx needs a bandana. I literally need to put a ninja bandana around this damn thing's head because it charged and one-on-one took down a greater demon of Khorne. I love you, War Sphinx. I really do. I'm trying to figure out how to fit him back into my 2,500 point list because holy shnikes. Can you believe that BS? It weathered all those attacks and then beat that thing back to hell. Sam and Dean would be proud. Then over here in combat, my direwolves just get annihilated. There was absolutely nothing I could do about that. But it was fine, because it bought me time, and my War Sphinx is now safe. So I feel good about this. So we go over here to top of 6 after movement. And as you can see, Plague Bears and Demon Prince go slamming into my Skeleton Warriors, and the Blood Crushers, they just say, screw it, go ahead. He's not going to be able to do anything. He actually could not see my catapult, so he couldn't charge. And when he failed his ability to march, he just said, screw it, have fun. Because it's not like my Hex Race were going to be able to do 9 or 8 wounds and vape the unit or anything. Meanwhile, everything else that he has is, well, dead. So you're looking at it. There's a better picture of all his Nurgle stuff slamming into all my Skeleton Warrior stuff. Nothing happens in his magic or shooting phase. Well, I think he gets one spell off on his Plague Bears, but that's really it. He has no shooting phase. We go into combat, and you know, the Skeleton Warriors don't do great, but they don't do terrible. They survive, and I'll take it. I'm not able to do anything to his Demon Prince, and I do kill a handful of his Plague Bears. Not enough to win, but it's enough to, you know, negate some of his wounds and stuff like that. So, I mean, you're looking at what's left, but I mean, he's only got one more round to take out the entire unit, so I think I'm pretty much safe there. So we go over here to bottom 6 after movement, and my Hex Race bounced through the Skull Crushers, or the Blood Crushers once again, and they are able to slip 2 more wounds through and take them out. I debated sending the War Sphinx and the Titan in, and then I thought, you know, they're both hanging on by like a wound. I better not, and just hope that my Skeleton Warriors survive. And that was my gamble, so that's why nothing charged in. There's a better picture of the Hex Race killing one more Blood Crusher, and that was pretty cool. And then they're in the magic phase. I'm able to get 5 up ward save off of my Skeleton Warriors. Damn it. And I bring 4 back, which was helpful, I guess. In combat, it goes really bad for me. I don't have hatred anymore, so I'm not re-rolling my hits. He doesn't direct any attacks against my characters, luckily for me. I think he was going for the unit itself, which isn't a stupid idea. But after crumbles and everything like that, I have like 22 guys left total, including characters left in the unit. I think I killed like 1 more Plague Bear. I didn't do anything to the Demon Prince, but I survived, and that's what's important, because he doesn't get any points for that unit now. And there's the end of the game right there. Yeah, I have a lot left on the table, and he's got some Nurgle and 1 unit of Khorne left, so I gotta be honest with you, I don't feel like this battle went badly at all. It felt really good. My Vampire Lord did die. That broke my heart a little bit. I think I might, from now on, start playing the Demon Prince, you know, died music and stuff like that, because I'm starting to get real emotionally attached to my Vampire Dragon combo. But other than that, this was a damn good game. Damn brutal game. And very intense. Very fun. Both of us had a lot of fun playing this game. And yeah, I got to be honest with you, I kind of like the Chaos Ascendant rule, because, you know, you really have to earn, you know, every victory you get on the battlefield, and I like that. And plus, slowly but surely, he's starting to go full mono Khorne, which is also kind of cool. But you know what, we'll get to recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Banners, banners, banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You are never going to be able to get better banners than this. There is no company, there is no talent scout, there is no entity on the planet that's going to get you banners better than this. Custom banners for your custom army. You want better paint scores. You want that little edge that makes your army better than the guy next to you. Sick of running, you know, going to a tournament and getting that paint score that's just a few points lower than the guy that literally sneezes on his army, and you can't figure out why? Get these banners and make your army really pop, really stand out. Send this guy an email, tell him what you want, and get yourself some banners. It's totally worth it. Alright, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, you know, they're glass beads, cool high-def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. And Unleashed Wargaming's painting services is back, guys. I took it down for a little bit while I redid the ad and added some of his newer pictures, but as you can see, he does amazing work. He's based out of the US. He does solid, quality work to all armies. I mean, you saw the pictures, you've seen the quality, you've seen the vibrant colors and the attention to detail and everything. I mean, that banner is free-handed. I mean, how are you not going to like something like that? So if you're like me and you hate painting, but you don't have an awesome wife to do all your painting for you, give this guy an email, talk to him about what you need, and he's going to knock it out for you. You're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be embarrassed when you play your army at, your local store, at GTs, or local GTs at your store, or however the heck you want to play. You'll have a painted army. It's going to be a beautifully painted army to your specifications. How can you go wrong? Send him an email, get your army painted, and quit embarrassing yourself. Tell him Tremendous sent you. But yeah, guys, after everything was all said and done, it was another victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up getting 1,830 points out of him. He ended up getting 1,304 out of me. Undead Legion lost my Vampire Lord. Oh, rest your soul, noble hero. My Direwolves, those poor bastards. My Chariots, that was completely my fault. My Vargeists, that was my fault too. And the Casket, that was all my opponent's fault. I'm not taking any blame for that. Meanwhile, though, the Chaos Legion's host lost their Bloodthirster due to my outstanding War Kitty. His Herald of Khorne, his Herald of Tzeentch, his Fleshhounds, his Bloodletters, his Skull Cannon, and a Beast of Nurgle. This was one hell of a battle. The War Kitty taking down a mother effing Bloodthirster in 1v1 combat. Dude, does that Bloodthirster even lift? Now, I know, in that last couple of rounds of combat, I was able to desiccate him something fierce. But for 2-3 rounds of combat, that thing was full power. And the War Kitty was just too much, man. Really, really enjoyed seeing that. Really enjoyed the fact that the War Kitty could actually do something like that against arguably one of the best fighting lords in the game. Not only did it charge and win, but it charged one and beat its ass back into hell. The War Kitty is an amazing unit, and I really got to figure out how to put it back into my 2,500 point list. My Vampire Lord finally died. It finally got taken down. Congratulations, opponent. You did good. You're the first. But it really did take a ton of punishment before it went down. The Bloodletter unit, the Herald of Khorne, the Demon Prince of Nurgle, the Fleshhounds, and then a flank charge from a fully healthy Plaguebearer unit with a Nurgle Herald in there. It took a lot to take him down. That model, that whole unit is just friggin' amazing, and I can't wait to play with him again. I did make a huge mistake with the Chariots. I really wish that I had overrun so they could turn around and actually have done something, the next turn, but I didn't. It was really stupid. But I thought the War Kitty was dead, and then I was going to just charge my Chariots into the flank or front or whatever they gave me of the Bloodthirster and hope that they could put the last few wounds through before he got to attack them. That was the hope anyway, and that was the reasoning, but in the end it didn't ended up mattering, and I gave up the Chariots for no reason, so that hurt. The Reign of Chaos chart. Gotta love it, I guess. It's one of those necessary evils. Still hate it. Still think it's overpowered, but what can you do, right? Really still loving the new Legion rules. The games are a lot more intense. They're a lot closer. I like the fact that it kind of starts edging people towards mono-god lists. I like the fact that they can be comboed, I mean, there was a Demon Prince of the Warriors of Chaos running around with the Demons of Chaos, and I can't wait for, Beastman stuff to start showing up, and Warriors and Demons that are really blended to start showing up. I like the diversity. I like the fact that it's all viable. I'm enjoying it. I really am. It makes the games a lot more fun. And my newer unit, the Vargeists, did well considering the overwhelming odds I put them into. They went into a unit of well, the bloodletters went into them, as well as the Beast and Urgle, and they survived and held up that whole flank for long enough for basically the Blood Crushers to do nothing. I mean, yeah, they got my Vargeists, but so what? They did nothing else the entire game. They're kind of cheap too, which kind of shocks me. But this was a damn fun game. This was a damn good combat game too, and I can't wait for the next game with this opponent because I really do enjoy playing against the Chaos Legion book. It's a lot more fun than I expected it to be. But there you go, guys. That's going to do it for Battle Report number 169, if you can believe it. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.